We build our earliest understanding of safety around the family unit. It is a biological and social structure designed to shield a child from the dangers of the outside world while they are at their most vulnerable. But that shield can crack, and when it does, in a place like Madhya Pradesh, India, the surrounding environment offers no comfort. The geography here is defined by vast, isolating stretches of arid land, connected by lonely highways that cut through the desolation. Local authorities recently uncovered a violent rupture of that familial structure. A domestic dispute escalated to a lethal extreme, ending with a man allegedly murdering his own wife. The violence of that act was immediately compounded by what he did next. The suspect took their 2-year-old son, drove away from the homicide scene, and discarded the toddler deep in an unpopulated woodland area. This sequence of events represents a total inversion of the parental role. The individual who represented the child's primary source of security transformed into the specific person who created the lethal hazard. With the mother gone and the father turned perpetrator, the toddler was left in a state of total exposure. The situation created an immediate need for state intervention to fill the void left by the collapsed family. To understand the true severity of this event, we have to look away from the adult perpetrator and focus squarely on what the surviving victim actually faced. This is the reality of the drop-off location. It is a harsh, unforgiving stretch of dry woodland. There is no natural shelter, no obvious water source, and the ground is covered in dead brush that retains the intense heat of the day. A human body at 2 years old has incredibly low reserves. In a climate like this, a toddler will succumb to severe dehydration and temperature exposure in a fraction of the time it takes an adult. Beyond the physical toll, there is a total lack of cognitive defense. A 2-year-old possesses no survival instincts for this terrain, cannot track a path back to a road, and lacks the vocabulary to even comprehend why they are suddenly alone. Leaving a child with those specific limitations in this specific environment changes the nature of the suspect's profile. This removes the defense of a spontaneous crime of passion and reveals a cold, calculated indifference to whether his own son lived or died. The act of walking away and leaving that toddler in the brush was an execution order in everything but name, making the response from law enforcement a literal race against a ticking biological clock. That isolation was eventually broken. The machinery of the state mobilized, deploying units of local police into the brush. The first operational mandate for these responding officers is strictly medical and physical. They have to locate the child, stabilize his vital signs, and physically remove him from the hazard zone before doing anything else. The moment the child is secured and handed off to medical personnel, the tactical objective flips entirely. The rescue operation transforms into an active, aggressive manhunt for the father. Detectives map a timeline, tracing the route from the homicide scene to the forest abandonment site. Calculating the geographic distance and driving time proves how much time the suspect had to reconsider, providing critical evidence of premeditative evasion. A shattered family creates a void of chaos. The methodical, rigid structure of a criminal investigation acts as a counterweight, locking down facts and replacing that chaos with actionable answers. The legal prosecution now divides into 2 distinct tracks. On one side, prosecutors must prove the homicide, requiring physical forensics, a clear motive, and definitively linking the weapon. On the other side, they must prove child endangerment, relying heavily on environmental and medical evidence. These 2 legal goals address separate requirements of justice. One focuses on punishing the perpetrator for the initial act of violence, while the other establishes the restorative measures needed to ensure the child's future safety. The legal process will eventually trigger the foster and child welfare systems. The state must now step in as the permanent guardian, implementing legal barriers to ensure this child is permanently shielded from further domestic harm. No court ruling can give this 2-year-old his mother back, but enforcing the strict consequences of these acts is the only tool a society has to reassert its boundaries and prove that the most vulnerable among us will be defended.